What's happening on the planet right now? Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So I'm going to give you a few different examples of what is taking place right now as I'm creating this video, and right now as you are consuming the video. Scenario A will be this. Somewhere on this planet, there is a person. I want the truth? There are hundreds of millions of these people. There are people right now who are encountering the narcissist for the first time, and they don't know what narcissism is. These people could be of all ages. They could be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, all the way up to past 100 years old, and we all are going to begin living longer. So make sure you are taking care of your health. But this person, they are unaware of narcissism. And given the example I'm sharing with you, they're living their life. And maybe, let's say they're in their 20s, maybe 20s or 30s. Let's use that as an example. They're living their life, they have a good job, they have a college education, maybe or maybe not, but they bought their first car, have their apartment, everything's settling in. It's going the way they want it to be going. And what happens? Well, maybe they join a gym. Maybe they join a community. Maybe it's a religious organization or a hobby or a university. I don't know. They do something because they want to expand their horizons. And what, of course, else do they want to do? They want to meet someone. All right, now the stage has been set. Well, this person, who I can assure you was you, and it definitely was me, this person is naive, and they don't know what is about to take place. They don't know about narcissism, and they don't know what a boundary is. To them, a boundary is a state line. Example, Texas separates Louisiana and Nebraska and Kansas or wherever else. That's an example. Well, they don't know that a boundary needs to be implemented in their life. So finishing the example, or moving along with this example, this person, let's say it's a gym. They're going to the gym, they're working out, and they're there for the right reasons. They want to work out, but of course they want to find a gym buddy or someone to work out with or someone to share experiences with. Well, they start getting a little comfortable at the gym, and somebody's striking up conversations with them. They're changing their patterns. They're changing what time they work out. Next thing you know, that person, of course, you know who that person is now. They're toxic. Yes, they're the narcissist. This is an example. Now they're love bombing the person who right now, as I'm creating this video, this is happening on the planet. Whether you know it or not, it's happening, and I'll prove it in a moment. This person, the naive person, they are thinking that, wow, I just found someone who's really cool, nice person I can spend time with. We can grab lunch, we can car ride together, and we can work out together, etc. Well, that's a budding narcissistic relationship. Side note, pro tip, I am not saying everyone who goes to a gym is a narcissist, anything but. I'm giving you an illustration. Pro tip is finished. So then with this friendship is budding, and now a couple weeks turn into a couple months, months turns into more coffees turns into learning more about the other person, etc. Well, this turns into romance. Now what happens? The one person who's toxic now figures out that the target, again, which was you and myself, this person is naive, they're vulnerable, they're an empath, they have a lot to offer, they have a good job, they come from a great home, they have deep religious beliefs, etc. And they really have a lot to offer, but they don't know who the narcissist is. When they figure that out, then they say, hey, maybe we should move in together, or maybe we could save money and split a new apartment, or maybe we could go into business together, or maybe you and I could take this to the next level. Whatever they were doing, they were beginning to move up the stakes in the narcissistic abusive arrangement or cycle here. Well, the person who was you were trusting, and just like the person, this is happening right now on the planet, I'm telling you, the trusting person is now on top of the moon. They're on top of the world. They're thinking, oh my gosh, I have my job, I have my car, I have my apartment, my health is perfect. I'm working out and everything's going great. I'm earning good money, I'm saving money, and I met someone. This is great. This is what life's all about. Yeah, of course we can move in together. You know what, why don't you move into my apartment, and then we'll just split the rent, or I earn more than you, so maybe I'll pay 70%, you pay 30%, but we'll work it out later. Don't even worry about it. We'll just figure it out. See what I'm saying? This is how it starts. So what does the raging narcissist do? Of course, they downplay it and say, no, I'm not so sure if I should move in with you. Maybe it's too early, or no, I'll contribute something. But I think maybe we should slow down a little bit. And the new supply, the target, again, it was you, it was me. This person now has love bomb written all over them. They're now being lathered. They're being peppered with the love bomb. So they don't want to wait any longer. They want to say, no, I can really help you. I can do it. We're supposed to be together. You're my soulmate. You're the yin to my yang. You complete me. You're everything to me. Of course I want to help you. And now the trap has been set, and now the person fell into it. Now the narcissist moves in. You know that song and dance oh too well, as do I. As soon as the person, i.e. the narcissist, moves into this healthy person's apartment, it all changes like that. Now the narcissist is now not cleaning up after themselves. They are now not cooking. They're now leaving dishes in the sink. They're now not changing the toilet paper. Sorry for being a little graphic, but it's true. And now they're making noise. Let's say playing music at all hours of the night. Maybe they're having certain vices, which I'm not going to mention because I don't really mention vices on the channel, but you can imagine what they may be. And all of a sudden, the new supply's life is slowly being dismantled, but they can't figure out what's going on. We had everything. It was going great. Everything was perfect. But what is the new supply doing? The new supply, or the target, whatever you want to call them, or the person who's naive, they're trying to get back to how it was before the narcissist moved in with them. With the new supply, and that's why I'll reference them right now. What they don't understand is they're now trapped. They're now in a cycle, and they won't be able to get out for quite a long period of time. Now, having said that, the narcissist has done this dozens of times, maybe even hundreds of times. And those numbers, I am really sugarcoating those because, and I'm not even going to get into it, but this is what the narcissist does. Now, having said that, then the narcissist says, yeah, it's working again. This person's now, I'm now making a mess, and this person's now cooking for me. They're cleaning up after me. They're paying the rent. They're paying the bills. And what do? All I have to do is just keep on showing up whenever I want to, and I can continue to drain or zap this person's energy from them. This is what the narcissist does, and you should know that by now. So now the new supply is now going home from work. Let's say it's been a couple months, and they're hesitant. They used to go to the gym after work. They don't go to the gym any longer. They put on a few pounds, let's say, and now their bank account used to be flush with money. It's now negative, and they've now had to take some credit cards out, and now that's happening. And they go back home, and they're thinking, wait, I used to go to the gym, but I don't go to the gym any longer, and I don't even want to go home because this person who I fell for, they aren't really even giving me the time of day, so what should I do? Well, what does the new supply do? Well, what do is they probably stay at work a little bit longer, and they probably reach out to some friends or some family members or anybody to communicate, to try to have a healthy conversation about anything, but they don't want to go home. And now they're not going to the gym, and now their bank account's going to zero, and now they've gained some weight. You see where this is all going? Yes, you do. Eventually, that person goes home. Let's say it's the same day. They go home after a little while. And then what happens? Well, the narcissist is now blaring music. They have a couple holes punched in the wall. There's broken glass in the kitchen counter, and there's spilled juice or whatever. The Xbox is playing Call of Duty too loud, and now there's a couple other strange people on the couch, and now they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. Leave it up to your imagination, whatever that is, vices, whatever that would be. And then the new supply opens the front door, and they're dumbfounded. They're like, what is this? Who are these people? What's going on? Then the narcissist, again, new supply doesn't know they're the narcissist. They just look at the new supply, whose apartment it is, who's paying for everything. And they just say, oh yeah, you remember these people? I told you about them a couple months ago. They're my friends. You're gonna like them, they're good. Gets back to playing the Xbox. You see, that person is now trapped. Not only are they trapped, I'm talking about the new supply. And this is happening right now. As I'm creating this video, there are people that are moving the narcissist into their house, unbeknownst to themselves. It's happening. But having said that, this new supply person, they have no idea what's going on. And it's gonna be a very long road for them. And they will continue to stay stuck in that hamster wheel, unless, of course, they figure it out early, or they're strong enough to boot that person from their apartment, or unless they get the wisdom sooner. And most likely, it's gonna be a long, bumpy ride for them until they figure it out. That's scenario A. What is scenario B? Scenario B is the same person, or the same type of person, a person in their 20s or 30s. It could be their 40s, 50s, it could be older, it doesn't really matter. But this person, again, I'm gonna use the same kind of example. Say they're a person starting off in life. They have their new apartment, their job, their health, everything, college education, the same kind of person. And now they're going to the gym. And then they see a person giving them a little too much attention. But this new person, not the narcissist who's trying to love bomb them at the gym, the example I'm sharing, who is not going to be called the new supply, I'm going to call them a person with boundaries. The new person with boundaries recognizes that a toxic person is giving them a little too much attention at the gym. The person with boundaries, they actually know what triangulation is without even experiencing it, because they've watched videos and they understand if something's off to trust their instincts. Again, this is an example. So the narcissist who's at the gym love bombing the person with boundaries, they're working really hard. They're stalking them on social media, spying on them, parking right next to them in the parking lot, using the same gym equipment and asking if they can get a spot, whatever people do at gyms these days, all those things. But the person with boundaries isn't taking the bait. And they're understanding that something's off with the person who's trying to really approach them or get in their energy field, but they're not giving in. They're not giving them the time of day. And they're keeping their information to themselves. And they're keeping the narcissist, and by this time, I'm going to fast forward this part of the example, the person with boundaries, let's say they figured out that they are a narcissist, or at the very least, they're a toxic person. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, well, how could they know they're a narcissist? They're not a PhD doctor. Well, if you've been in the narcissistic abusive cycle like I have, you don't need the PhD, believe me. Having said that, this new person with boundaries, they haven't been in a cycle, but they've watched videos and they've heard about these kinds of people and these strange behaviors. And they're now connecting the dots without ever having been in a narcissistic abusive cycle. And they are trusting their instincts. They're trusting their intuition. They are seeing red flags. And what are they doing above all? They are really moving slowly. They are not taking the bait. They're not buying or taking a bite of the love bomb. They're not believing all the false narrative and all the false attention and adoration. They're saying something's wrong here. This one person keeps on showering me with all this fakeness, this fake caring about me, but everyone else is just doing their workouts or whatever. What's going on with this one person? Now, you, the person watching the video right now, consuming the video, and thank you for being here, you could say, well, maybe the person that the narcissist just has a crush on the person with boundaries. Well, the narcissist has a crush on anyone who gives them the time of day. So that's not what it is. What it is the person in the gym with boundaries now understands something and they're now getting a taste of it firsthand. What do? They continue to not share information. They continue to exercise and do what they do. They don't give out phone numbers. They don't share a coffee with someone. They change their exercise routine if they need to, maybe even change the gym. They do whatever they need to do, but they're not listening to the negativity. I'm going to share something with you. This is a whole different thread for a quick moment, and it's a side note pro tip. Just imagine you sitting down somewhere, you, the person consuming the video. You're sitting somewhere, anywhere, and a person sits next to you. Do you notice how sometimes you could feel like, you're like, why are you sitting next to me? I just want to be alone. I'm like, what are you doing? And then sometimes someone sits next to you and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's because it's a feeling that you have within yourself. It's the same feeling I have. You can read energy, especially if you're out of the cycle and you've healed. When I say read energy, I mean you can sense with this newfound superpower what goodness is, what inauthenticity is, what narcissism is, what toxicity is, and everything else in between. So understand that. Now, having said that, going back to the example, the person with boundaries, they're not going to take a bite of any forbidden fruit. They do nothing. They continue to go about their business, and they don't give that person the time of day. What happens with the narcissist who's hitting on them in the gym? The narcissist will be deflated, dejected. Yeah, they'll experience a narcissistic injury, probably a small one. I don't know. I don't care about what kind of injuries these freaks of nature get. What I'm sharing with you is the narcissist in the gym, using the example with the person with boundaries, they're going to have to slither off elsewhere. They're going to have to approach another person in that gym or in a different gym. Now, you may say a different thing. Because the person with boundaries didn't take the bait, maybe they're going to still try and blow up that person's experience at the gym, or triangulate them, or smear them, and everything in between. You would be right. That's what the narcissist does. That's why the path, that's why the solution, and that's why one of the best things you'll ever do is go no contact. If you've done it, you know it served you well. And if you haven't, you need to ask yourself why you haven't. So these are two examples of what's happening right now on this planet called Earth with human beings in a gymnasium. These are examples. It could be anywhere. It could be at your work. It could be in traffic. It could be at a church. It could be anywhere. With person A taking the bait because they don't know what's happening. And it's not their fault. I'm going to say it again. It is not their fault. It wasn't my fault, and it wasn't your fault. Person B, the person with boundaries, they've been working behind the scenes. They've been educating themselves. They're not the people out going to parties and doing keeping up with the Joneses and doing what people do on weekends, etc. They're the person that has actually focused on themselves. They're the person that understands that they are the priority. They come first, second, and third. And here's the key for this video. They are the person who is learning from other people's mistakes like mine. This is why I create videos. I've made many, many, many mistakes in my life, and I'm sure you have too. The narcissist has also. The difference between you and I and the narcissist is you and I admit when we make or made mistakes. The narcissist won't. And this is why I create videos every single day, because I want you to learn through my mistakes. I am paying it forward so you don't have to go through what I went through. So before I close this video, person B, the person with boundaries in the example I shared, they are the person that are gonna really understand what energy is, and they're not gonna fall into a trap. They won't. They're gonna move slower through life, and they're gonna meaning with relationships, and they're gonna understand that they don't want to take a chance on toxicity. It's not worth it. Again, if you knew what you know now when you were younger, could you have avoided the narcissist? Possibly. The narcissist you're considering, yeah, you probably would have. But most likely you still would have met a different one. That's why you're getting the wisdom now. That's why I'm creating videos now. That's why you can't unsee what you've seen. And that's why you need to get as far away from these people as fast as you can. So using that example right now to prove that it's happening right now, think about it. 8.3 billion people on the planet. Does everybody know about narcissism? No. Is everyone a narcissist? No. Do you know about narcissism? You're learning. Do I know about narcissism? You're damn straight I do. And more people every day are learning. So whether someone watches one video and it plants a positive seed in their mind, or whether someone's watched 5,000, 10,000 videos and they continue to come back to keep their cup full, any way you cut it, you're different than most people because you are now the educated empath. You now are out of the cocoon of boundaries, and you are now either at or arriving at the mountaintop of indifference, the pinnacle of indifference. Any way you look at it, you need to leave the narcissist in the past. You need to cut the ties with them, close the chapter of the book on them, and heal and move away from them. Because right now, as I'm creating this video, I'm telling you for the fourth time, there are people who don't know what's out there. And when you don't know what's out there, you are ripe for the picking. Those are layman words, ripe for the picking, but I just want to throw it in there, which means this: you're vulnerable, you're naive, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, and you're uneducated, that the wolf in sheep's clothing is right around the corner and they will be knocking at your door. Once you figure that out and you heal and heal properly, yeah, you realize the wolf is everywhere, but you're not going to take the bait and you're not going to give them the time of day. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it, and I mean loved doing it. From the beautiful Carolinas, this is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you're not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. A few quick things. Number one, all of you here in the community and on the channel, like myself, you are way stronger than you know. You are way stronger than you know. If this is the first video you're consuming, or maybe the 10th or 15th, please, for your own health and for your own security and educational lesson, continue to focus on yourself. Continue to become awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and continue to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. If you have been out of the cycle for a long time and you've healed, I appreciate you coming back, dropping comments, paying it forward, and helping pave the path for those people who aren't as far along the path as you are. For everyone in the community, I'm sending you a big virtual hug and a big virtual heart. I love you all. Continue to focus on yourself, continue to believe in yourself, and realize one thing: you are not alone. You are not alone. I am with you no matter where you are, no matter what country you're in, no matter what time of day or evening it is, no matter what challenge you're going through, or no matter what new accomplishment you just achieved. I'm with you. We in the community are all with you. So understand that. Believe in yourself the way I believe in you, and that we all believe in you. I love you all. I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. I love you guys. Bye.